Good evening. Welcome to the May 8th, 2023 meeting of the Sacramento Regional Transit Board of Directors. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Director Budge.
Here.
Director Daniels.
Here.
Director Hume. Director Jennings.
Here.
Director Kozlowski.
Here.
Director Laloe. Director Maple. Director Cerna.
Here.
Director Suen.
Here.
And for the record, Director Suen is here as alternate for Director Singh Allen this evening. Director Valenzuela. Here. And Chair Kennedy.
Here. All right, I will remind everybody, this is a hybrid meeting, meaning members of the public can participate in the meeting either in person or virtually. This meeting is being live streamed, and the slide on the screen shows the information on how to join the webinar via Zoom. You can also call into the meeting at 253-215-8782, and the webinar access code is 837-9338-8162. If you'll please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You know, it's a good day when you've said the Pledge of Allegiance 4 times. All right, the first item, of course, is the consent calendar, items 2.1 to 2.14. Before going to the public, I believe Director Budge has.
I just want to comment, Chair. Thank you. Item 2.11, the amendment to the SBTC JPA authority was approved this morning at the SBTC JPA.
Thank you.
Chair Kennedy,
Yes,
do you mind if I read the
Oh,
replay statement
please.
really quick?
please do it.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, so we have a quorum at 8 votes, and this meeting of the Sacramento Regional Transit District will be cablecast on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T Uverse cable systems. This meeting is closed caption and the webcast at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Wednesday, May 10th at 2:00 p.m. and Saturday, May 13th at 2 p.m. on channel 14. This meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com/Metro Cable 14. And we actually have 9 votes for quorum. And members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker card located at the rear of the room and provide it to myself or Adam. If you're participating by phone, please push *9 to indicate a desire to comment. If you're joining us through Zoom, please push the raise hand button. Be sure to unmute yourself when it is your turn to speak and voluntarily state your name for the record.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. At this time, then, is there any other member of the board that would like to make a comment or question or pull an item from the consent calendar? Seeing none, is there any member of the public that would like to comment or pull an item from the consent calendar?
Ronnie Miranda has his hand up.
Ronnie? Ronnie Miranda, are you there?
Yes, this is Ronnie Miranda. How are you?
Thank you very much. Which item would you like to comment on?
I'd like to address the board about the smart ride.
Okay, so we can do that during items not on the agenda if you don't have a specific.
I did submit it last week or the week before, and I did submit it today. So you should guys.
Ronnie, my point is that we're now on the consent calendar. We will have an item in which you can address the board for items not on the agenda. You have something specifically on the consent calendar that you would like to address. Otherwise, we'll take your call in a bit.
Wasn't fully aware of that. I don't like being cut off. Okay.
Okay, so I will. I'll call your name again when it's appropriate time on the agenda. Thank you. Is there any other member of the public that has an item on the consent calendar that they would like to address at this time?
There are no other hands up.
Thank you very much. Hearing none, is there a motion?
Being none, I will move approval of items 2.1 through 2.14.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Budge and a second by Director Laloe. Please call the roll.
Director Budge,
Yes.
Director Daniels.
Aye.
Director Hume,
Aye.
Director Jennings,
Yes.
Director Kozlowski,
Yes.
Director Laloe,
Aye.
Director Maple, Director Cerna,
This is
Aye.
this morning.
Director Suen,
Aye.
Good idea.
Director Valenzuela,
Yes.
and Chair Kennedy.
Aye.
Consent calendar passes with 10 votes.
Thank you. That brings us to our public hearing items. Item 5.1, public hearing preliminary fiscal year 2024 operating and capital budgets. We have staff presentation.
Actually, Jason Johnson is here to answer any questions.
Online, I take it. Virtually.
Oh, no, he's here.
Oh,
He's
there
here.
you are. Sorry, I have eyesight issues. So, is there anyone from the board that has any questions on this item, Mr. Johnson? Hearing none, are there any members of the public that would like to address this at this time? All right,
I don't see any hands up.
Mr. Chair, I would move to continue the public hearing to June 12th.
okay, was that Mr. Hume?
Was?
Okay, we have a motion by Director Hume and a second by Director Budge. Please call the roll.
Director Budge,
Yes.
Director Daniels.
Aye.
Director Hume,
Aye.
Director Jennings,
Yes.
Director Kozlowski,
Yes.
Director Laloe,
Aye.
Director Maple, Director Cerna,
Aye.
Director Suen,
Aye.
Director Valenzuela,
Yes.
and Chair Kennedy.
Aye.
Motion to continue the public hearing to June 12th, 2023 passes with 10 votes.
Thank you very much. That takes us to item number 6, public addresses, or the board not on matters not on the agenda. Mr. Miranda, now is your time.
Good afternoon, Board of Directors. I have made several complaints regarding the Smart Ride. And I'm getting really frustrated as a disabled passenger. I have to keep reminding dispatch to basically let them know that I'm a disabled passenger severely with neuropathy. And so there's never available time for the downtown area. I made several complaints. I believe I sent an email to whoever is the chair of the board of directors. And I sent a message to whoever is the supervisor for my district. And honestly, nothing has been really addressed to my concern. So I'm getting really frustrated as a disabled passenger. I have to keep repeating myself. I'm always doing those complaints and it's not being addressed. And then I have to be rerouted to the actual supervisor. And again, so I need to figure out what to do as far as the transportation for the Smart Ride.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Miranda. Mr. Lee, it's kind of awkward being that it's virtual to get people together. How would you recommend that we get a hold of Mr. Miranda and who to get a hold of him? Discuss this.
We know this customer very well. We're
Okay.
going to reach out to him immediately.
Okay, great. Mr. Miranda, the staff will be reaching out to you shortly. Thank you for taking the time to call in. Appreciate it. All right, next is Robert Copeland.
Well, after last week's RT board meeting, Katie Valenzuela approached me and Kristen Lopez. I'd like to thank her for that. If that's allowed. One, you got to give a reason why people want to ride the RT bus system. Like go to where people are at. Town hall means all through every neighborhood in Sacramento County. RT is not going to fix itself. It's got to be up to each city and county board of supervisors to fix the problem with low-income housing, which I'm saying, because a lot of people are paying too much in rent. They're not going to be able to go anywhere on the RT bus system if they got to pay most of their money in rent. They're not going to buy a computer. That's tax dollars out. Some that goes to RT. I mean, each city council member in the county board has got to do the fair share of getting people want to ride the RT bus system. What's this canceled trips? There should be no canceled bus trips in Sacramento County. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you coming. Paul Andrews.
Yes, I was actually commenting on the budget. I put down the wrong number.
Okay.
The main solution I've seen from local government has to do with more electric car charging infrastructure as the only option available to address climate change. Funding for electric car charging spots is inherently classist. Those with the least ability to purchase electric cars are also the least likely to benefit from these stations. Funding from these ill-conceived projects needs to go to local transit agencies. Those with the most likely chance of having poorly running cars are those with lower income jobs living further out of the city center or away from their jobs. All of these should be a definition for what you look to when you're thinking about reasons to increase transit funding. Increase your requests. I believe in a previous meeting, a speaker mentioned the small percentage of the budget that actually comes from fares, and yet a similar portion of the budget goes to addressing fare evasion and police. So you potentially save money by not having fares for folks to check tickets. You'd also likely increase ridership among those for whom even a small fare is too much. Increased ridership has the potential to decrease street maintenance, decrease calls for service related to accidents, traffic jams, potential to bring in more state and federal funding, healthcare with air pollution, and all for giving up what amounts to nearly 5% of revenues. Add to that increased numbers of rides to more parts of the city, and that's when you'll start to see an actual increase in the number of riders and a decrease in the number of vehicle miles driven. People need to know that this service is dependable and always available. That is the only way we break them of the feeling that they need to drive everywhere. Transit in a world facing the realities of climate change, in which climate change will disproportionately affect those who can least afford the effects of it, is a vital service akin to the basic underpinnings of what government should provide to its citizens. Local government doesn't have a lot of control over big picture air pollution, water pollution, or just in general climate change solutions. But one way that it can have an outsized impact when compared with its size and budget is to fund adequate transit services. You not only would make transit ubiquitous and always on solution that people wouldn't have to even think about, you'd be removing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of miles driven from the roads, with many of those cars being used for commuting, like I said, being driven further, being older, and likely being more polluting. To say nothing of the lives saved from the decreases in the number of traffic accidents and fatalities. All of the people that would be impacted by this are those with the most tenuous existences in our society, and it is incumbent upon us to make the strongest effort possible to ensure that we can do the best for everyone by increasing transit to 24/7, as free as humanly possible, safe and frequent.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews. Appreciate you being here and your commitment to public transit. It takes us to item 8.1, General Manager's Report.
Actually, there's a couple online
Oh, are there?
comments.
Sorry.
We have Jeffrey Tartagia.
Jeffrey.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Wonderful. Trying to get in was a bit of a problem. Apparently it's an internet connection on my end that's the issue and through there. But I want to comment about this last month of the 50-year celebration and the free Tuesdays. I'm hoping that the board learns of what in its number of members were used on that quote free fair day. Because what I noted on the South Side Park for the Ecos Earth Day is that it was extremely hard to get a bus because the bus stops around there are not marked in red. And we had way too many cars parked using the Ecos space through there. I also would be interested to know what came out of the Saturday Earth Day celebration, as how many riders were available using your service. I bring this up because you have the potential over the summer of several more adventures and pauses to offer to encourage people to ride so they use public transportation. I would encourage the advertisement to get out there because clearly there was a difference of one versus the other, and what was acknowledged as Earth Day and what was acknowledged as Ecos and around the South Side Park, because simply there was too many cars all parked around that area to acknowledge and celebrate that day. You have several other locations along the route number 11 down to, should we say, City College that are also not marked in red. And so on the weekends, just like on the 51, on the weekends, these bus stops end up being blocked because cars park in front of them. I bring it up to you as an issue and something that makes it inconvenient and not possible to board a bus when there is not a bus stop to be utilized. So thank you, and I will leave you with that, with something as a recurring issue that RT, I believe, with the city planning department should be able to alleviate and address and fix. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Next,
Rick Hodgkins.
Rick.
Hello there. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Excellent. Good to be back. I would like to ask a question. I've asked this question before. Sorry, my computer talks because I no longer can see to read the computer screen. But with that said, what I would like to ask is, with the light rail stations platforms now being raised, if I'm getting off at Mather Field and I want to go towards Amtrak station instead of towards Folsom, how would I get across the tracks to the other side? I mean, turns out that the platform is not going to be raised as high as the platforms, like, let's say, on a BART platform in San Francisco. You would just walk to the other, you would just stay on the platform and walk to the other side of that platform. But still, how would I still, that's the question I have, because would people still have to step off that platform and walk to the other side? It was still, and then also, would the tracks at the Amtrak station, I hope after all that work was done, about 16 years ago, back in 2007, I don't know if you're, I know that platform is going to be raised, or they, there was a series of questions I asked, and somebody had called me last month, and I was hoping to hear back from them again about, are the light rail tracks going to be moved once again at the Amtrak? That's what I call Sac Valley Station. I call it the Amtrak station because that's just what I'm used to calling it. So again, will there be changes at the Amtrak station as well, as far as the light rail tracks being relocated again closer to where the Amtrak platform is? And also, how will people get across, if they need to go, let's say if they're at Mather Field and they need to go downtown, instead of as opposed going towards Sunrise or Folsom? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rick. We appreciate you. It's good to hear from you again. Appreciate you taking the time to call in. Staff has your contact information, so we'll be following up with you personally. Any others?
Yes, we have David Von Aspern.
Okay, are you able to hear me?
We can hear you.
This is David Von Aspern, resident, South Natomas. Thank you. I have 2 unresolved customer advocacy service complaints. One of them dates from September 7th, 22. The other one dates from February of 22. I've stopped at the customer advocacy window 3 different times, and both cases remain unresolved. I can't take it anymore. I am hoping for a
David, are you there?
Sorry, that's my fault.
Yeah, a sign came up that said the host muted me.
Yeah, sorry
Sorry,
about
that
that.
was an accident.
Technical.
So does
Go
my
ahead.
3 minutes get to start over again then, since that wasn't my fault?
We won't hold it against you. Go ahead.
All right, I want a meeting with Henry or whoever the appropriate management staff is on both of these unresolved cases. I have the case numbers if you're ready to write them down. 1087771. The other one is 116881. Because these are so old and unresolved, I'd like to have the meeting within the next 2 weeks, please. What steps do I need to take to arrange this meeting?
You just did, David. So we staff, I watched staff write that down, and do we have your contact information?
Yes, we have.
We do. We have your contact information, David, and we'll be contacting you very shortly.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you.
David.
Director Cerna has a comment.
David, are you still on?
Yes,
Okay, so this is Supervisor Cerna, and obviously I also serve as a director here. So I will kind of belt and suspenders your need to get some response back from management, and in fact, I may join you in a meeting if that's what ends up happening.
okay, thank you very much. Ray Trethaway did that for me years ago, and I was greatly honored. So Phil, thank you for that offer.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, Director Cerna, and thank you, David, for calling in. Appreciate it. We will be following up. Any others?
There are no other hands up. I apologize. I meant to lower the hand and I hit mute.
That's fine. Is there any member of the public here tonight that would like to address the board? Okay, seeing none. Item 8.1, General Manager's Report. Mr. Lee.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board and public. First, I want to thank all the public comments, which will help us to further, to better serve our customers. Let me begin by with some exciting news. At the end of April, the head of Federal Transit Administration, Ms. Nuria Fernandez and her leadership team hosted Zakati in the headquarters office in DC, Washington, DC. I was joined by, as you can say, our Vice Chair, Rick Jennings, along with directors, Katie Valenzuela and Bobby Shane Allen, and Laura, Chris, and Greg. I want to thank our board directors for joining us, and Director Katie Valenzuela used her effectively promote the capital region, how aggressively we pursue the affordable housing projects and other innovative initiatives. Then Director Allen promoted actually shared how great this region work together and pursue the regionalization, and as a result we got this agency grow by 30% in the last several years. And our vice chair and temporarily launched his Super Bowl championship reign to FTA administrator, the middle, Miss Nuria Fernandez, took picture with that picture, did not show here, and administrator told me she was extremely pleased with that. Then I believe our meeting was extremely successful. as last Friday, we received great news that FTA is awarding SACRT with $45.1 million. Thank you for the collective effort. So the funding comes from the new railcar vehicle replacement grant program that was created by the bipartisan infrastructure law, and only 6 awards were made nationwide, which is very rare. We will use the funding to support the purchase of 16 new light rail, low-floor light rail vehicles from Siemens, and they are currently Siemens is currently producing 28 vehicles, and then this will help us with additional 16 new cars. We have secured funding for about 44 new cars, which is about 2/3 of the vehicles we need to run the entire new system. With 66 vehicles will be good enough if our vehicles reach our ridership for light rail system will reach to the previous level. But with current 55 to 60% of a ridership level, 55 vehicles will be good enough in the next 5 years if our ridership will not reach out to the peak. What does that mean? We only need $100 million. Right now, we have secured more than $350 million, or probably a little bit more than that, for the Gold Line vehicles and the platform conversions and the double tracking in the great city of Folsom. Then we start purchasing vehicles for Blue Line and the stations. So, we'll continue to pursuing about $100 million more to complete the entire light rail modernization initiative or program. We have an application, we submitted application to the RACE grant about a month ago for another $50 or $40 million. If we can get that money, and then SACRT just in the transportation committee meeting just recommend give us about $11 million for light rail for light rail modernization. So with about 2 years, we might be able to get an additional $100 million to completely modernize our light rail system, which is just another 30 years will be good if once we get this modernization done. I specifically want to thank our federal delegation, Senator Alex Padilla and Congress members Doris Matsui and Amy Barra for championing our application. Additionally, all 3 of them have submitted community project funding requests to support SACRT transition to low-floor light rail vehicle. So in total, those 3 project funding requests are more than $14 million, plus about $4 million we got a couple months ago from the community funding champion was secured by Congressman Barra. That's about total about like close to $20 million just from the community project alone. And we look forward to working with them as these requests make their way through the appropriation process. And during this time, we may request our board members to maybe talk to these congressional members or even go to the DC sometimes to further advocate for funding. Because I have 3 more applications in the DC, hopefully we can win some. Also, we just got an award about $8.5 million from state Power STA for the light rail technology improvement effort. Okay, on to the next topic. As you know, we kicked off SACRT's 50th anniversary celebration in the month of April. We will continue to host public pop-up events at different light rail stations and transit centers through the end of this year. At the pop-up events, staff had a chance to chat with riders and handed out slacks and limited edition SACRT swagging. I want to thank our riders who went online to share their SACRT stories and memories of last 50 years. We also were able to host a luncheon with former SACRT general managers, and those 3 additional other general managers, and including our original GM, William Barnes, on the far right side. He's 96 years old. And we took a photo in our bus yard featuring active and retired employees. It was great to see so many of our past employees as they care deeply about this agency. And you may not be able to see it. In the middle, there were 2 wonderful gentlemen. And one is Director Hume, another one is Director Leroy. And thank you for attending and speaking with our workforce. They're very happy. Okay, and next. Speaking of hearing from riders, this has never happened. 2 weeks ago, we hosted an open house to hear feedback and answer questions regarding our SACRT Go service. And you will recall SACRT began operating our ADA paratransit service in-house July 2021 after years of contracting our service out. And a year ago, we began contracting with Uzo, a private firm called Uzo. By working with ATU, we were able to contract out up to 30% of our paratransit service. And they provide a supplement service in order to improve our efficiency and service. We were happy to have over 70 people attending in person and a lot handful via Zoom. We heard from riders that they are pleased with our private service provider, Uzo, and are very interested in our on-time performance. They want further to say our on-time performance. We're good, but they want to say better and better. And it was great to see so many engaged riders at the workshop. And I know our Mobility Advisory Council members in attendance were very pleased. And we will try to have this type of events in a more regular way and more often. Because we can hear lots of great stuff from our riders. Next, please. I would like to offer my congratulations to SACRT's bus maintenance department. Last month, we celebrated the graduation of 2 journeyman mechanicals, including the first female journeyman mechanic in our agency's history. It's very difficult to become a journeyman. They have to have 3 years training. 3 years, right? Yeah, 3 years training. As trainee, then pass many tests to get to the journeyman rank. The special 3-year bus mechanical training program is a partnership with the regional IBEW leadership. And upon completion of the course, the individuals are positioned to become a bus mechanical A, which is the highest classification for bus mechanicals at SACRT. And the regional director manager joined our meeting, and I just want to thank the great partnership, with our partner IBEW the local and the regional partners. We have some very good, wonderful relationship in the past years. Then one more thing, I wanted to offer congratulations for our light rail and security teams. Last week, we received the notice that Sacramento is the winner of the American Public Transportation Association's Rail Safety Certificate of Merit Award for light rail system. And the award will be presented at Sacramento upcoming rail conference taking place June 11 to 14th in Pittsburgh. Our security VP, Lisa, and our light rail operation VP, Ron, will join the conference. And along with one or two more staff. I did not want to send 4 people before, but with this award, and we have to send more people to the events, just try to save some cost. The award falls on the heels of our 2022 federal TSA's Gold Standard Award for System Security, which we talked about last time. Only 4 agencies out of 7,000 agencies nationwide won that award in 2022, and also we won that award in 2019 too from federal TSA. And APTA's 2021 and the 2020 Rail Security Gold Awards, both years. And when many transit agencies are struggling with safety and security issues, our team is leading the industry and continuing to be recognized. And 7 years ago, when I joined Sacramento, our board of directors and were kind of like focusing on the safety and security, and that led us to create the transit ambassadors. Those transit ambassadors start to ride the train, every single train. That was a pivot moment to change our culture of safety and security. So to conclude my remarks, I would like to thank Director Barge for innovative initiative or idea. As you know, Sacramento has an Alert Sacramento app, which we have primarily used to push out service alerts impacting our light rail system, which we kind of get bad things happening. This alert to tell customers and riders, hey, what's happening? And you guys need to be, look out. The app also allows riders to report any issues by sending a text message or photo directly to the Sacramento Police or Facility Departments. And thanks to director's idea, we are now using the notifications through the app to promote all other events, including positive events with our riders, because we have so many positive events. For example, this weekend, Sacramento is offering free ride flyers for the relaunch of the second Saturday art walk, and the inaugural Flooring Kento Family Festival. And lots of people did not know that. And many riders, they are not aware of these festivals or Sacramento's free rides to the events. So this will be a wonderful way to promote our community events and encourage alternatives to driving. So that concludes my remarks. Get back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lee. The vice chair has shared with me that he has petitioned the NFL for 2 more rings, which should get us to the $100 million. Is there anybody has any questions, comments on the general manager's report? Is there any member of the public?
Rick Hodgkins has his hand up.
First, hang on a second, Rick, Vice Chair Jennings.
On the great report, by the way, and I just wanted to ask on the last report when it spoke to the alert that they were only available on certain trains. And I was just wondering, are there limitations as far as whether it be available for all trains whenever something comes up that you want to
It's
speak
all
to?
trains.
Okay, I just was reading what it said on the
It's actually all trains.
all trains.
All trains.
Good, that's what we want to hear. It's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Thank you. Yes, Director Laloy.
Yeah, thank you very much for that report. Great report. And I don't think we say this enough, but really we have to thank individuals that are behind the scene, to get this kind of accolades and awards and, getting these wonderful news. Really the individuals that are not here and they're working behind the scene, our gratitude goes to every single one of you because it's because of you that SAC RT is where it is today. And it's because of you that we're getting these wonderful awards. So again, thank you very much, Mr. Lee. And also I wanted to thank the staff as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Any others? Is there any member of the public that has any comments on the General Manager's report?
Rick Hodgkins has his hand up.
Rick, go ahead.
Audio now unmuted.
There we go. I had to press my Alt-A. Real briefly, for those of you that are blind, listening or watching on Zoom, to raise your hand, use the Alt-Y key at the same time, and to mute or unmute, use the Alt-A key. So now to business and my comments. That was a great turnout we had about a week and a half ago, where we had 70 of us come out, including members of us members or whoever from the MAC came out to talk about mostly paratransit services and USERV. Hopefully one policy which will change with regards to paratransit services and USERV is there are people like myself who cannot always fit in the back seat of a USERV vehicle, because I thought that because it was the driver's personal vehicle that we had to sit in the back seat. It turns out that is an RT policy. The trouble is that particular day I came in a USERV and I was driven in a Honda Civic. And so I ended up having to sit in the front because of my height and size and so forth. Please don't make any comments on my size. The other thing I wanted to bring up with regards to that event is that we had somebody. Now I live in Citrus Heights, not in Delta Shores, but we had somebody at that particularly at this meeting who represents Delta Shores. They don't sit on RT's board. I don't recall offhand if they sit on the MAC. I don't know which one of the board members, which person on the RT board represents Delta Shores, but guess what, board? RT does not cover Delta Shores. There aren't any buses or light rail. There aren't any buses which go to Delta Shores at this time. So this is a surprise and a wake-up call, according to one of the staff members, Richard. I can't remember his last name. I think it was Mitchell. He's brand new to RT, but I didn't even know this for the first time in RT's history that this is what I find out, that we do not have a bus which goes to Delta Shores. Again, I don't know which one of RT's board members covers or serves Delta Shores. I don't know if that's you, Councilmember Director Laloy, or you, Director Supervisor Cerna, or you, Director Supervisor Hume. But if one of you three, I think, serves Delta Shores. But you will be saddened to know that there is not a single bus route which serves Delta Shores. So those are my comments with regards to what Henry Lee had to say about that, that turnout. And maybe a bus route to Delta Shores will be looked into, because guess what? No one who's disabled or elderly out there can get a ride anywhere as a result of there not being a fixed route out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rick. And actually on this board, that would be me. So I will follow up with staff. Any others?
No other hands up.
Okay. That takes us to item number 9. Reports and ideas, questions from the board. Is there any member of the board that has any comments, questions, ideas? I'm sure you all have ideas. Okay. Then that takes us to 9.1, which is the Capital Corridor Joint Powers Authority meeting summary. Director Laloy, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Then now we're going to go into closed session. I will have the clerk read the closed session items into the record.
We have item 13.1, which is being pulled by staff and will not be heard this evening. And then we have 13.2, conference with legal counsel for anticipated litigation. Maria Giacomo versus Sacramento, which is a matter of application to file a late claim. And then we have 13.3, conference with legal counsel for existing litigation for Templin versus Sacramento.
Thank you very much. Where are we doing this?
We're going to do it upstairs in the
Upstairs, the
executive
conference room?
conference room. Do you expect a report out?
No, there's no report out. Do I need to come back and reconvene and close or just, okay. So the rest of the board doesn't need to? Go ahead.
Wait. We don't need to. Okay.
Okay. You AB 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah. Okay, we're going to take an AB 1, 2, 3, 4 comment right now.
Okay, just want to report out to the board that on behalf of the city of Sacramento and Regional Transit, I participated in the Cap to Cap convening that took place a week ago. And I not only participated in public safety, but in transportation and also flood control. And so according to the AB 1234 report, I should report that out publicly to the public for them to know that I participated and on behalf of transportation and regional transit.
Great. Thank you, Director. Any others? All right, then we will recess into closed session.